Welcome to Lifing 101, a journey through life's experiences, challenges, and interpretations. An intriguing and soul-refining podcast that explores the countless twists of life. Get ready to be amused, enlightened, entertained, empowered, and inspired. Hosted by Tina C. Christian, your MC with the LPC and guest co-host Lorenda McKinney, your MC with the PhD.
Welcome, lovely listeners, to an exciting episode of Lifing 101 podcast,
where we dive into life's little mysteries and offer you insights to help you lead a happier, more fulfilling life.
I'm your MC with the LPC, Tina C. Christian, navigating y'all through this journey up and down and all around on this emotional roller coaster we call life.
And I'm your MC with the PhD, Lorenda McKinney. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfortable spot, sit back and relax while we embark on this restorative journey together.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening out there. Okay, so last week we talked about prioritizing ourselves, putting ourselves first, me first, prioritizing our peace.
Right.
Our purpose in life and meaning. So, to follow up for that, I guess we would talk about
elevating. Because if you have a purpose and you're not quite there, what do you need to do to get there?
Right. That's a good point, because we're coming up on the end of the year. Everyone pretty much looks at themselves at the end of the year, kind of taking self-inventory.
Right.
And what do I need to do? What should I be doing? What do I want to do? So, right, elevating yourself, taking the necessary steps that you can, or even preparing and planning for those necessary steps that you can take so that you can be a better version of yourself.
Right. Because you usually do inventory probably twice a year, your birthday, because it's like, am I where I want to be for this age? Because we get caught up in going by what we think the book says we should do by a certain age. Right. And then usually at the end of the year, because we want that clean slate when we wake up on the first of the year. Yeah. So usually those are the two times when you start to do inventory on your life and see if you're where you need to be. So at that time, you probably do start thinking, okay, how do I get where I really want to be?
Right. And so some of the things that I honestly come to think about it, I was just on the plane ride home from vacation doing exactly that. I opened up my notepad in my phone and I'm like, what are some of the things that I want to do? So I was kind of taking self-inventory, like how I could become a better version. I mean, exercise, for instance. I'm like, okay, so that's one thing on my list. I'd like to start becoming more active because I couldn't because my foot was messed up. But then also because it is the end of the year, we're taking self-inventory and we're wanting to know what do we need to do or what would we like to do become better. So yeah, start taking self-inventory of self and figuring out the things that we think that we need to do. So yeah, we could give tips, but honestly, that's going to be more of a self-evaluation to see what you need to do, because everybody's elevation is going to look different.
Right. And then don't be hard on yourself. Think about, there are some things that I want to change, but think about the things you did this year that were really good. Or think about the things that were your first. Like this year, for the very first time, I was a duffel bag boy. I traveled to Florida to see my friend with a book bag. And I've never done that. We're not going to discuss the fact that I sent clothes before. That is irrelevant. But I really got on that plane with my purse and a book bag. So that was a first. So now I know that I can do that. Sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, when you're used to traveling with 2 bags and you downsize to a book bag,
that's progress. So we talked about that before, celebrating the small things and the little things. And I don't think we do that enough. We're always looking at
that it has to be big.
Correct. Or being better. So then we don't celebrate those little small things. And so also in thinking about the small things, you and I, we were talking about not sweating the small stuff.
Right.
So maybe not sweating the small stuff about the things that we didn't achieve, but celebrating the small things that we did accomplish this year, and then looking at other things that we can do. They don't have to be big things either, you know?
Yeah. And it may not, like you said, it doesn't have to be big things. And usually people only seem to notice big things. So don't wait for approval for you to celebrate, because if you're waiting for someone else to realize that it's a big thing, it may be big to you and not big to them. So we just have to learn to skip to our own beat.
Right. Because perception is everything.
Yeah. And
perception is your reality. It may not be someone else's reality, and their perception is there, and vice versa. So yeah, definitely. So if I had to look at myself, some of the things that I want to do is definitely there's other business opportunities that I'm looking into. There's personal things like as far as, getting my health better,
right,
doing other things that I need to do to become a better person in regarding to health as well as mental health, so those are some of the things that you should be thinking about for yourself. What are your goals for you? What are some things that you can do to improve you? And again, they don't have to be big things. They can be something as small as getting organized.
Right, for sure.
It can be something as far as traveling more, being more open-minded, having a better relationship with other people or building a better relationship with your family or your children or just anything that can elevate you. How can you elevate yourself to be a better you?
Right. So that next year, this time, you're in a different place.
Correct. And that's what it's all about, being in a different place. As the saying goes, or as I always say, I'm not in competition with anybody but myself. All I want to be is better than the person I was yesterday.
That's right.
Right. So that's how you can look at it. How can I be a better person today or tomorrow than I was yesterday or the day before? So start looking at that again, not something drastic. It doesn't have to be drastic. So we're just saying if you're doing something that you want to stop, you want to break some bad habits, maybe looking at how you can go about that. If you want to stop smoking, you want to stop eating a lot or overeating, if you want to start working out again, making progress, not necessarily saying that you're going to accomplish that thing in one, day or even 1 year, but start taking those small steps to create that change that you want to see.
Right. And if you can look back and see that you've done something changed positively for you that you weren't that the year before, there was some type of positive change.
Right.
Doesn't matter how small it is. It literally, you have to celebrate it because that's how you stay motivated to keep going to the next thing. I have a huge thing, and I call it huge because it requires studying. So even though I swore off school after my doctorate degree, I do want to get my senior level HR certification. The only thing about that is I have PTSD from reading. So that's what's making me not do it because you have to study. This is hundreds of dollars.
Right.
So you got to be prepared so that you're not wasting the money. So you have to have the clear mind so that you can study with a clear mind. And when you show up for that test, you have a clear mind.
And that's a good point because as you were talking about that, it made me think about limitations. People need to be realistic about your limitations and things that you do like and don't like and things that you can and can't do because it doesn't make sense to create goals for yourself that aren't going to be achievable or obtainable. So don't make these big outlandish goals. Like she said, I don't want to really read. So that's not going to be an immediate goal for me.
Exactly.
So I know that that's something I'll have to build up to and work up to. So know your own limitations, be realistic, be real with yourself and honest with yourself on the things that you can and cannot or are willing to or not willing to do.
And that's such a good point that you say that because not being realistic will make you give up.
Yes.
Just like when people are dieting, they say, don't call it a diet, call it a lifestyle change.
Yes, because
you won't last. And if you try to pull everything away, okay, I'm just not going to eat fried food. Like, honey, work your way into it. I'm going to cut back and then cut back some more. Right. But to just give it all up, you won't last because you feel like you got to sacrifice so much that it's not worth it. So you kind of have to take baby steps. Like I might start reading closed caption on my TV.
Well, I'm already doing that.
So I might do that. So now I'm like, okay, I can read and retain now. And then before you know it, I'm like, Tina, I took my test. But for real, it's just baby steps. You kind of have to like work your way up to things. You just can't not go to the gym and then go every day for 3 hours a day. You have to be realistic because you'll feel like a failure because you're making the goals too unrealistic.
Yeah, you're not making them obtainable or achievable. And so I think we talked about a while back about goals and the real goals and smart goals and things like that. So making sure that you're making real, smart, obtainable, achievable, measurable goals that are going to make you reach your ultimate goal. So elevating yourself, taking self-inventory at this time of year, like I said, it's something that everybody's doing anyway.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, and with the previous conversation we had with you guys about finding your meaning and purpose, that will be a step that you'll need to do in order to actually achieve that goal of finding your meaning and your purpose. You have to really take self-inventory and elevate yourself. And again, when we say elevate and build, think about that. When you're building something, it's brick by brick, you know, or it's step by step.
It's not overnight.
Right. It's not like today today I'm this, boom, tomorrow I'm huge.
Right.
No, everything takes time. It takes progress and process to just form.
Yeah.
So think about that when you're trying to, how do I want to elevate myself?
Yeah, what's your plan? And then make sure that it's not comparing and competing.
Oh, no.
Because that's going to knock you right back down because we're all different.
Yeah.
What takes one person to make a routine for them, it may take you less time, it may take you more time, but you're not worried about the next person. You'll hold yourself back worrying about what the next person is doing and how long it takes them to reach their goals. You plan your goals and you work your plan.
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely. I hope no one's out there thinking about, I want so-and-so's life. You know, what do you want your life to look like? Don't compare yourself to someone else. Don't be trying to keep up with the Joneses.
And
forget about the Joneses.
Yeah, and are you sure you want their life? Because we don't know.
Correct.
We only know what we see. We don't know anything else. So
outsiders looking in.
Yeah, a lot of people say, do they want what you had to sacrifice to get what they see? You know, they see you living a dream, but they have no idea what the tears that it took for you to get there.
The blood, sweat, and the tears. Correct. So everything ain't for everybody, and don't be looking at someone else's life thinking, I want their life. No.
Right.
What do you envision yourself and your life looking like?
Right.
That should be like your vision board, your own personal vision board. And that's a good idea. You know, there's different ways to do vision boards, but when you're trying to elevate yourself and you're trying to take self-inventory, think about the things that you want and then create either some sort of vision board, whether it be something on a computer and a piece of paper, or whether you're going old school, making a scrapbook. But think about the things that you're wanting to do and the things that you want to change. And then think about the steps that you will need to take to achieve that and obtain those goals, you know. And so kind of listing those things out to create that plan for elevation.
Right. And something I've been wanting to do and I haven't done yet, have a vision board party. Mm-hmm. Turn it into something fun.
Yes.
And then you actually can get you an accountability partner. Mm-hmm. A lot of times an accountability partner will help you. Yes. I remember I was reading something and these people were working out together. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't exchange phone numbers because they couldn't call off. And they would feel bad about keeping the other person at the gym looking for them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So they wouldn't exchange because you woke up every day and you're like, oh, I can't have them just sitting there wondering where I am. Mm-hmm. I can't call them because what's the first thing you do when you're ready to cancel? Text somebody or call like, I ain't going to make it.
Right.
But imagine if you don't have that option. You're going to show up.
Yeah.
You're going to show up. Or that person's going to drop you because I'm going to tell you one thing. You leave me somewhere hanging and I don't know what's wrong. I'm done.
Yeah, and I got time for that. Yeah, you're going to show up and we're going to show out. But
it's a good way to think to just, get your accountability partner because if you have somebody to help you, they're going to get you on days when you're not so happy about it. But there's going to be more days that you'll be happy you have that person than not.
Right. You mentioned vision board party. I don't even remember. I guess I'm getting old. I can't remember, but somebody had one and I went and I actually have a vision board probably in that closet. But anyway, I have one and I would like to pull that out. I'm going to probably pull it out and see what I've done.
Right.
And achieved, you know, after I actually did that. But that's a good point. But I'm constantly making plans in different type of ways. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be something like with pictures and everything, because anytime you're making plans and you're writing things down or jotting things down or even making mental notes, those are really, you know, things that you're looking forward to do. Those are your mental task lists or, you know, your verbal task list, your ones you write out, whatever. But have some goals for yourself.
Yeah. And I'm huge on sticky notes, to-do lists. Mm-hmm. I put stuff on my phone calendar. My family laughs at me because my alarm's going off. They're like, what's the time for you to take a nap? I'm like, hey, mind your business. This is my phone. But I do because marking those things off, it gives you a feeling of completion. Like, okay, I have 5 things to do. Mm-hmm. I've knocked those off. And then I immediately start putting some more things on there. Right. But there are little things and they might not make sense to anybody else but me.
And then that's all that matters.
Exactly. Because to me, I feel like I've gotten some things knocked off my list.
Yeah. Because again, if you have a lot of things that you want to do, you're more likely to forget.
Right.
Like I do. If you don't make some sort of mental note or actual physical note, something that you can see or some sort of reminders or tasks task reminders, and that's what it's there for. You know, the calendars and stuff. I used to tell clients that all the time, like in regarding to scheduling time for themselves, because people say, I didn't have time. So again, this is actually doing something for yourself. So put it in your calendar if you have to as a task reminder or event even, you know. So if you have a large goal that you're trying to achieve, and if you break it down into small goals, put those small goals in as a reminder maybe in your calendar.
You know, that's a good point, Tina, because you make calendar invites for everything else you got to do and for your appointments and to go and do this.
Why not for you?
Why don't you make them for yourself and stick to it? It's non-negotiable.
Correct.
Look, I'm going to do this for 45 minutes and nobody's going to bother me. And that's the way it is. If you can do that for everybody else, you know, you definitely should do it for yourself.
Right. And that's kind of like when you were talking about accountability, but partner or buddy. But that's how I used to tell people to make themselves accountable for something for themselves.
Right.
And so it's like you said, we make time for our families, friends, kids, jobs.
And won't miss it for anything.
Well, we have it in that calendar. So when it comes to yourself, why aren't you that important? You know, we talked about me first, prioritizing yourself. Why can't you prioritize yourself and put yourself in that calendar?
And I'm guilty because I told everybody the reason why I like massages once I go, as long as they don't try to break me in. But I do. I like them. But the whole time I'm there, I'm thinking of all the things that I could be doing if I was not there. And I said, I have to remove that thought from my mind because they always be like, oh God, you're so tense. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking about what else I could be doing instead of enjoying the moment.
Girl, when I go get a massage, I'm sleep slobbering and everything, apologizing afterwards. Like, I'm so get the slobber. I'm sorry, I got a new pillowcase, but I love massage too. But yes, you have to find time to put yourself in the calendar. And so if these are your goals, like I said, if it's something big, put the small things in your calendar for like terms as far as time frames. Yeah. So say, for instance, you want to get XYZ done by this date, even put that little reminder in there so that you can reflect and see, did I do this? But then also the next step on your calendar or your next step on your goal, put that in there and say, okay, so now I've done that. This is time to work on this. So put it like, say, for instance, you got 5 steps you want to do.
Break it down.
Give yourself maybe like whatever your time frame is, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, whatever. Put it in there and have that reminder come up so that you know that this is what I'm supposed to be working on. Because even if you haven't finished the first one, when that new reminder comes up, it's going to remind you that you should be working towards this. You know, it's not going to be something like, oh my God, I didn't get this done. It's going to be just a simple reminder that, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah. And it's okay for it to be bite-sized pieces. I mean, I think that's our thing. We want microwave everything. We just want everything really fast.
Correct.
And we've just turned into that because everything is made to speed everything up.
Immediate gratification.
Yeah, immediate. But we have to learn to just take the little pieces at a time, and eventually we'll get there as long as you don't give up.
Right. So definitely continue to take self-inventory and elevate yourself, doing the small things to achieve the bigger goals, looking at yourself and not comparing yourself to other people, but what do I want to do? What do I want to be? What do I want to change? What will I need to do to make these changes? How is that going to better, my life, not anyone else's, basically. This is all about you.
Right. It's been your best version of yourself. Correct. Like one day I'm going to get on here and I'll be like, oh my God. Guess what I did? I took the test.
Yeah, exactly.
So what that means is I came out of my PTSD. So there's a lot of little things that happen for me to come and tell y'all that. Yeah. By no means should y'all start waiting right now because I'm not nowhere close to that right now.
Right. But we're all usually working on something, whether we're making the mental or physical notes or vision boards or whatever. So why not just hold yourself accountable and make those mental, physical vision board notes or whatever and work towards those goals to even look back and reflect just to see the progress, even if you
makes you feel good.
Yeah, even if you don't achieve those things that you're wanting to do in the time frame that you're wanting to do them, you can at least look back and see the progress that you've made and celebrate. Because again, I know at this time of the year, it's kind of the standard, the norm to start thinking about the things we're going to change, the things that we're going to improve. So why not just go ahead and jump on the bandwagon, make your vision board or your plan to change after you take self-inventory and see what things will need to change. I mean, don't change things that you're okay with or happy with, but the things that you've been wanting to do, the things that you've been wanting to change, and not just because someone else said it.
The things that'll make your life better for yourself.
Correct. You're elevating yourself for you. What does the better version of me look like?
Yeah.
You know, when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you see, like, in the future, I want to be, or when I grow up, I want to be, what do I need to do those things is what I'm talking about. Not when you look in the mirror and say, well, what is Kathy doing? And, oh, I wish no, it's not about Kathy.
It's not.
It's all about you.
Leave her alone.
Correct. And those Joneses, they're none of your business.
Leave all them alone, too.
Stop thinking about the Joneses. Forget the Joneses, you know? So start thinking about yourself and what your goals are, what you want to change, what you want to achieve, and the little steps that you need to take to achieve the big steps is really the point that we're making here today. Elevate you.
Yeah.
Find your spot. Find your peace. Putting yourself first. Prioritizing yourself, as we said before. Me first. And then you will be a better version of you to be able to be accessible and assist other people when you're happy and achieve the things that you want to do in your life. It makes you a better and a happier and a more peaceful and content person.
Right. Because how can you show up 100% for someone if you're not taking care of yourself? I mean, we do it. We are guilty of doing it. And usually you're giving them the fumes because that's all. You're probably starting to give them the last of the fumes and then you get the very last with all the extra dirt and mud and stuff in it because you done given it all away and all you got is a little bit. So you go to your to-do list and you don't have energy to do nothing but probably turn the list over and don't look at it because you've already tired yourself from making sure somebody else is meeting their goal. Because that's really what you're doing. You're helping somebody else get where they need to be, but you may not be making sure you're working on your own list.
Right. And I'm sure we're speaking to everyone here. If we're not speaking to you, there's something wrong because we should always be wanting to be a better version of ourselves. I know some people don't have many major goals or aspirations, but you should always want to be better than yourself, not anyone else. But I know we all have room for improvements and advancements. No one's perfect. No one has it all figured out. No one has done any and everything that they've ever wanted to achieve and everything. So I'm talking to you. We're talking to every last person that possibly could be listening to this, because if you don't think that something can change, then maybe there's something wrong with you because we all can make some changes.
Yeah, we all can make some changes. And just like at the end of the show, if you listen to the very end, I say stay curious because as long as you stay curious about what your next step can be or what you can do, you'll stay growing. The first time you're content with just where you are, oh, I'm perfect, I don't need to do anything different. Basically, you've ended your life, so you'll continue to go through the motions, but you're not learning nothing else and you're not even open to it because you're telling yourself, I've made it. So just stay curious. What does the next level look like for me? What can I do to get there? And what can I do to get there without being too, roughed up and everything? What can I do to get there and still be good with myself, good with my mental, good, still in good shape to get there? And shape is just not physical to outside. It's so much your mind and your soul and all of that.
Correct. And it's funny that you said that because, when we think about health, we think physical, but mental health to me,
it's
of
way
course,
more important.
I would say it because I'm a therapist, but I used to tell people all the time every year, take a mental checkup from the neck up, to get your checkup from the neck up, because every year we go get a physical, an annual, or you're supposed to. So I would say do a mental check too. This is kind of the same thing.
Right.
Where am I at? Mentally, physically, all that. This is like a checkup, an annual checkup for yourself. Am I where I want to be? And so when you were mentioning how you say stay curious, and I always say stay hopeful. Yes, you have to, stay curious. What do I need to change? What do I need to do?
What can I do?
But then staying hopeful as well, because knowing that you can, don't give up on yourself ever. Knowing that you have room to grow. Knowing that you can do that, just being positive about these things. And it's always, like I say, changing your perception and your, the way you perceive things. If you think you can't, then hell no, you can't.
Yeah, because you've already defeated yourself because you already, if you wake up and you say you're going to have a bad day, then trust me, you are, because everything that goes wrong, you're going to say, I knew I was going to have a bad day. But if you wake up and say, I'm going to get through this day. Nothing is going to disturb my day. You know what? You're going to have a good, productive day because everything, you're just going to knock it out the way.
Right. So the same thing is true for this. If you stay hopeful, stay curious, and start telling yourself, I can do these things, and start making those steps. Because I know a lot of times people don't do things because they feel like they can't.
Yeah.
So they don't even make these goals for themselves.
Right.
Like, I know I can't do that. I was kind of watching a little Christmas movie last night, and I laughed because the guy was saying that when he met this woman, he was 80% sure that he was the guy for her. But the other 20%, he was like, she's out of my league. So he felt like he really couldn't, approach her and get with her because she was out of his league. But he did go ahead and stayed hopeful, put one foot in front of the other and approached her, and they ended up getting married. I know it's a TV show, but again, the point that I'm making is if you think you can't, then you probably can't. But if you think you can and you try, you stay hopeful and you put that, effort into it, more than likely you will achieve it.
Right, because he went with 20%.
Yeah.
He was 80%, but it was that little 20%. And he said, well, I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the stay hopeful is really the key, because as long as you believe that it's even possible.
The possibility.
And if you believe that it's even possible, you'll keep going for it because it's not impossible, it's possible. Right. Yeah. But just make sure that you're in a good place, because like we always say about your mental health and everything, you can sleep to get rest for your physical body. It's that mental, when you're mentally and emotionally exhausted, that there's no rest for that until you give your mind what it needs to give you that peace.
Right. So definitely stay hopeful, definitely stay curious, and be true to yourself if no one else, and start improving on yourself and the wants and the needs and the desires and aspirations that you have. Don't be afraid. Take those steps. Take time out for you. You are important. Remember, put yourself first. Priority number one. I will say that 1,000 times probably for the next several sessions or podcasts that we have or podasos, because it is so important.
Right.
And so if that's what we're doing right now at the end of this year in the season right now, and the year is coming to a close, so we're starting to look at what do we want to change? Well, I say one positive change that you can make if you haven't is putting yourself first and start elevating yourself and taking those steps that you need to elevate yourself for the new year or for the new you or for the new person you want to be and all that.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask somebody to be your accountability partner, because I'm going to tell you one thing. If it's somebody that cares for you, they're going to be more than happy to do it because they want to see you grow too. So don't think it makes you weak or it makes you not be giving your all because you're asking somebody to help you get there. Hey, it's okay. We were meant to be able to lean on somebody. You're not meant to make it through here without leaning on somebody. So don't think that discounts your goals or your outcome by asking somebody, hey, can you just be my accountability partner? Somebody would be happy to be, because I always tell people, don't tell me about something you're working on, because then I'm gonna kind of stalk you. Like, did you do that? And it's just to kind of keep you on track. It's not to drive you insane, but it's just to kind of keep you on track, because what if that one little check-in that I give you is enough to keep boosting you and nudging you until you get to where you're going?
Right, definitely. And I was sitting here thinking when you were talking about that, and kind of like when you're working on something, even if you don't achieve it, or even if it takes you way longer than you thought it should, and we say stay hopeful and don't give up. When I was doing like substance abuse counseling and stuff, I would tell people, because that's habits are hard to kick.
They are.
And so like they say in AA and NA, once an addict, always an addict. So people would relapse often. So when you're trying to make a change, you will relapse. You will slide back. You will slide up. Like when you're trying to lose weight and you start working out, guess what? You may slide off. You may relapse. You stop working out. Or if you're trying to go on a diet and you're trying to eat right and you do it for so long, guess what? You're going to slide off. You're going to slide back. So, but the key is to never give up and stay hopeful and continue to try to achieve your goal. And hopefully one day you will achieve it if you keep at it. You just know that you're going to slide. Just know that you may not always achieve your goals when you want to, but as long as you keep moving towards those things, you will achieve them. I remember being my 30th birthday, and I bawled because I was like, I'm not where I want to be. I had all these major goals and things for myself that I wanted to achieve. Well, guess what? I achieved all of them and then some, but I just didn't do it at that time.
Right.
So even though I felt mentally devastated because I had put all these expectations on myself, but I didn't give up. I kept going. And it took me long, just like for instance, graduating from college, most people, they were able to go through a master's degree in 6 years, maybe. So it took me down there 15 years. But guess what? I did it, but I had children. I had to work full time. I had to take care of kids. So I had to go to school part time. And not only that, there was times when I had to take semesters off.
Right.
So hell yeah, it took me like double what it would have taken someone else. But I had to look at me and my situation, my life, and what was good and how I could do it and what would work for me. I wasn't comparing myself to anyone else. I had these goals and aspirations for myself. So I had these timelines also for myself, but I realized that those are just that. They're goals and timelines. They can be broken. They can be changed. They can be, so don't get too discouraged if you put some expectations on yourself and you create these time frames and goals and you don't meet them at that time. It's okay.
Right. Because even with dieting, the first thing people would say is, it's okay to fall off. Just get back on.
Correct.
That just pick up. Okay. You picked out over the weekend. It's okay. The morning's still going to come and you still have another chance to do it. So I think that is important that you bring that up.
Very
that
important.
Even if you feel like it doesn't happen on that timeline, and we all have these things. By your 25th birthday, you should do this. By your 30th birthday, and it just doesn't always happen that way. And the thing is, it's not meant to happen that way for everybody. It's not.
And half the time it don't happen like that for a lot of people, but we don't know that. But everybody has your own goals, you know. And like I said, if they're yours, they're yours to change. Yeah. They're yours to make adjustments to. Yeah. Nobody's putting those expectations on you but yourself. Yeah. So it's okay to change it. It's okay to, take inventory and reevaluate and even go back and change your vision board or your plans, but just keep having goals and plans to elevate yourself and become a better version of you, no matter what that looks like, and no matter what that includes for you, just you, no one else.
Right. You. And be open to change. Be open to change. Be open to things not going as planned, and you having to have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and on and on. Be open to that. Just because it didn't go your way, do not give up because of one little piece did not go the way you planned. Don't do that.
Right. Because how many times, if you've ever been to college or even school, you write a paper, and how many rough drafts do you do?
Oh, honey, when I was working on my dissertation, I don't know how many period finals, period final, period final. Okay, period final. Like, seriously, I still have them saved because, hey, you got to keep doing it till you get it right.
Correct. And sometimes you're going to have to go back and make changes. Yeah. And that's okay, but you stayed on the course.
Exactly.
You eventually got it done.
Right. And right now I have PTSD, but who cares about that? The point is I got it done.
But anyway. Yes, it's just stay on your task.
Stay on course.
On task, because it's not impossible, people. Only thing that's holding you back is you. So again, you should not have any goals or desires to be better than anyone other than the person that you are now and the person that you were yesterday. Right. So that's our story. We're sticking to it. That's what we wanted to say today, is just make sure that you're constantly elevating yourself. And so in the spirit of the end of the year and coming up on the new year, it's time to take self-inventory, people. Look at how you can become a better person, whatever that means, a better wife, a better sister, a better daughter, a better friend, a better husband, a better worker, a better boss, or just, whatever that looks like.
Even a better self to yourself.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. That one's big because I know I can become a better self to myself. Yeah. I need to do that because sometimes when you're helpers and caregivers, that falls all the way back. Yes. And I have to constantly pull that back forward. Yeah. It's like I'm constantly on the back burner and I have to go, girl, you've been simmering back here to pull yourself
to the front.
That's what I was thinking about when I was on the plane. How am I going to pull myself to the front again? Right. Because I have to so sometimes you have to keep doing it. Right. It doesn't mean that you do it one time and it's over.
You're going to, because it's your habit. It's your nature to be helpful. So you're going to constantly have to pull yourself back out of it. So that's going to happen.
Yeah. How am I going to do it this time? Not necessarily even the year. Like you said, sometimes you take self-inventory a couple of times a year. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what do I need to change? Okay, I need to put me first. Okay, I need to stop not paying more attention. Oh, okay, I need to focus back in on this, or I need to come back around to this, because I'm one of those people that I always have 10 irons in the freaking, in the fire, ready to go. But then sometimes something happens and I get pulled back, but I always, come back around. Yeah. So that's what's important. Even if it was something maybe you looked at maybe a year or two ago and you put it on the back burner, maybe it's time to revisit it. Yeah. It's never too late. I had a grandmother who went back to college and got her degree after she retired. So it's never too late to do some things that you want to do.
That's right.
Even if you put them on the back burner, burner. Even if you thought you couldn't do it, revisit it, people. This is a good time to do that.
Yeah, and make your things for yourself non-negotiables, just like you do for everyone else. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to go to give me a massage, and I ain't going to worry about what else I could be doing. And I'm going to do it before the end of the year. So it's going to be sometime soon, just because I feel like I really do need it.
Yeah, well, let me know when you go. Because,
I am.
But you know what? I haven't gotten a massage since I've been back from Panama. I had one. And I was so frustrated because I had this lady over there. I called her Helga or Olga. I don't know. But baby,
she
let
put
me
her back in, her arm and her leg in it. See, I can't do that.
Ooh, I was like, she said, you like mate. You like, what she say? I'm bright, and mate. And I was like, yeah, what? She was like, they go, like they cry, baby. And she said, you go, I was like, yes, I want all that. Give it.
You're like
get
my
it
mom.
out.
She
get
like
it out.
deep.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I'm like, just kind of, but I really need deep because it needs to serve its purpose. But when I walk out of there, and I don't know if y'all seen that Martin where he was all jacked up and he went to the dang on dinner he was invited to with Gina, and then somebody hit him or something. He went, I'll be leaving up out there looking like that.
No.
So I have to, you have to release yourself when you go. And I think that's my thing. I'm like trying to fight it. No, I don't want to release it. But yeah, I'm going to let you know we can go together.
Just go to sleep, girl.
I be trying. But I be like, I don't take naps like that. I take good naps. You got to lighten up on me a little.
I want all of it. Get it all
That's my
out.
mom. She loves them and she loves the deep.
Because if it's not, I don't want it.
Yeah.
And so when I came back, I felt so bad for the girl. She was like, "Gee, what do you want? You want deep tea?" I said, "Yes, deep." When I left out there, I had such a bad attitude. I was like, "She didn't even touch. Did she even touch me?" I mean, like, what? So yes,
yeah. You was like, "Are you sending the other person in?" She like, "No, we're done."
So, but yeah, I love massage. So if you go,
yeah, let's plan that.
But I haven't been able to find another Olga or Helga or nothing like that. So if your name is Olga or Helga out there, I meant no offense, but if you're a masseuse and you can do the deep, just call me.
Yeah,
call me, please. I'm looking for you.
She's looking for you.
Because I ain't trying to go back to Panama. I mean, but I will.
I was about to say, yeah, you are.
And then it was so expensive. I think I paid like $180 with a discount for the massage. And then I remember telling my husband, I was like, that's the best massage I ever had in my life. I want to go back tomorrow.
But I noticed that on resorts and stuff, they're very expensive. You can just go into places and they're $100 or less.
But
baby, but hey,
let me
they know
tell
you're on vacation.
It was worth every penny. And I even tipped her like $20. I said, if I had more money, I would have tipped her more because that's how good it was. And I was in there like, oh my God. I left out of there floating.
Feeling free.
Yes, like, party on. Where Olga is?
And I would have been laid out like, y'all go on and have a good time. I'm going to go to the ER.
I wanted to bring her back to the States. Come on, Olga, Helga, whoever. And she couldn't speak hardly a lick of English. I didn't care as long as she knew how to
She knew what she was doing though.
Yeah, so those are good. But anyway, again, back to the point. Face your fears, achieve your goals. Don't give up on yourself. Stay hopeful. If you had something that you put on the back burner, bring it back to the front.
Right.
If you have something that you've been wanting to do and you haven't done, start taking inventory, seeing what steps you can take to get those things done. Elevate yourself, people. Elevate your mind. Remember to check up from the neck up.
Yeah.
You know, all those things. It's that time. It's that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So until next time, people, stay hopeful and stay curious.
Before we part ways, we invite you to share your own stories, thoughts, and reflections with us. Connect with us on social media, reach out through our website, or simply leave a comment on your preferred podcast platform. Feel free to leave us in voicemail at 816-607-1243 with any thoughts, concerns, or questions that you'd like shared on Lifing 101 or just answered or addressed. If you prefer to send us an email, feel free to do so by sending it to our website, lifing101pod.com, or send us an email to info@lifing101pod.com. Your insights and experiences enrich our shared understanding of this incredible journey we're all a part of. Please subscribe to this podcast and follow our website, lifing101pod.com, and find and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Stay hopeful, stay curious, and keep embracing the vibrant, unpredictable, and awe-inspiring journey that we call life. Goodbye for now, and may your days be filled with endless wonder.